Jackie Gleason told everyone about the Golden Age stars who were really mean and terrible. Jackie Gleason was born with the name Herbert Walton Gleason, Jr.B. on February 26, 1916 in Brooklyn, New York. Gleason's early life was very poor and filled with hard times. His dad left the family when Jackie was just a little boy, and his mom died while he was still a teenager. These tough times early on forced Gleason to become an adult really fast. But they also helped create the strength and funny personality that would later become what he was known for. His quick jokes and natural ability to talk to people were clear even when he was young, as he started making friends, neighbors, and anyone who would watch laugh, using comedy as both protection and a way of making friends with people. By the late 1930s, Gleason was working as a host in theaters and clubs, slowly getting better at his timing and creating a style that would make him different in the busy world of show business. His big chance came when he started doing television during the early days of TV, right when America was starting to love TV as a main part of family life. Jackie quickly made himself stand out with his endless energy, expressive face, and amazing ability to turn into characters people would remember. Maybe Gleason's most lasting gift to television was The Honeymooners, the famous sitcom that started in 1955. In it, Gleason played Ralph Cramden, a loud but lovable Brooklyn bus driver whose big dreams were always bigger than the money he made. Along with Audrey Meadows as Alice, Art Carney as Ed Norton, and Joyce Randolph as Trixie, Gleason created a forever memory of working-class life, complete with laughs, anger, and deep love. Even though the original show only lasted 39 episodes, the show's importance was huge, helping to build the very base of sitcoms for many years to come. Lines like, "One of these days, Alice, bang, zoom, straight to the moon" became super famous in American pop culture, and Ralph Cramden stays one of television's most well-known characters. But Gleason was way more than just a television star. He was also a man with amazing talent in many areas. He hosted The Jackie Gleason Show for many years, a variety show filled with comedy skits, musical performances, and his own bigger-than-life presence that brought millions of viewers each week. Beyond television, Gleason also made a successful jump into the world of movies. He was in many films, but maybe his most celebrated role came in The Hustler, 1961, where he played the smooth and scary pool player Minnesota Fats alongside Paul Newman. The performance got him praise from critics and showed audiences that behind his comedy talent was a really talented dramatic actor, adding even another side to his career. Jackie Gleason also followed a love for music. He made a series of easy-listening orchestra albums in the 1950s and 1960 Seconds, which became really popular with beautiful arrangements and romantic feelings. His records, such as Music for Lovers Only, hit home with audiences and showed his ability to connect not just through laughter but through emotion and mood. In fact, his albums sold millions of copies, making his place as a true multi-talented entertainer solid. Even with his fame and success, Gleason stayed a person based in realness. He brought to his performances an everyday person quality that connected with audiences across America. His bigger-than-life personality, often marked by his famous catchphrase, "How sweet it is," showed a man who found happiness in entertaining others, and who never ran away from the spotlight. Yet those who knew him in person described him as a man who could be both loud and deeply thoughtful. Someone who carried his early life struggles with him, but turned them into power for creativity. Jackie Gleason's effect on entertainment stays enormous. Countless comedians, actors, and television creators say he inspired them, and his work continues to be celebrated in reruns, tributes, and look-backs. His ability to capture the heart of humor, humanity, and heart made sure that his legacy would live far beyond his death. Jackie Gleason's personal life, especially his marriages, was as exciting and colorful as his legendary career in television and entertainment. His first and longest marriage was to Genevieve Hafford, whom he married in 1936, at the very beginning of his rise in show business. At the time, Gleason was still a struggling comedian and actor, working hard for roles in New York City nightclubs and theaters. Genevieve, a strong Catholic, didn't want to marry him at first because of his show business lifestyle and his reputation for drinking a lot and dating many women, but she finally agreed. Their marriage would last an impressive 34 years, though it was often filled with fighting and time apart. The couple had two daughters, Geraldine and Linda, both of whom were very private compared to their father's celebrity status. Genevieve, who wanted Jackie to leave the entertainment business and live a more stable, family-centered life often fought with him over his career choices, his late-night hanging out, and his lack of home discipline, even with repeated separations. They did not officially divorce until 1970, long after Gleason had become one of the most recognized faces on American television. This first marriage showed both Genevieve's loyalty and Gleason's complicated personality. He was at once charming and magnetic, yet very difficult to live with. Almost right after his divorce from Genevieve was finalized, Gleason got into his second marriage, this time to Beverly McKittrick in 1970. Beverly was a secretary whom he had met years earlier, and she was much younger than Gleason. Their marriage was short and often described by people who write about lives as more of an in-between phase in Gleason's life rather than a deep romantic connection. Friends and co-workers of the comedian noticed that Jackie seemed restless during this time. His health was starting to get worse. His drinking and smoking habits were catching up to him, and he was looking for a new kind of stability. Sadly, his marriage to Beverly did not give that sense of balance, and after only 5 years together, the couple divorced in 1975. While not much is widely known about Beverly compared to his first and third wives, her short time with Gleason showed the comedian's ongoing struggle to balance his personal relationships with the demands and lifestyle of a world-famous entertainer. Later that same year, Jackie Gleason married for the third and final time to Marilyn Taylor in 1975. Marilyn was the sister of June Taylor, whose famous June Taylor dancers regularly appeared on Gleason's television programs. Because Marilyn had long been connected to the entertainment world through her sister's work with Jackie, she understood the pressures of show business far better than his previous wives had. Their marriage turned out to be the most stable and happy of Gleason's life. Marilyn gave a sense of comfort and friendship that helped keep him going through his later years, especially as he battled getting sicker. Friends and co-workers often said that she was the one who truly tamed the Great One, bringing him peace in his final chapter. The two stayed married until Gleason's death in 1987, making Marilyn not only his last wife, but also the one who stood by him during his most weak years. Jackie Gleason, the legendary comedian and star of The Honeymooners, was never scared to speak his mind, whether in the press, in interviews, or even in private conversations that later became part of his bigger-than-life legacy. Known for his loud voice, sharp wit, and bigger-than-life personality, Gleason had spent time with countless stars during Hollywood's golden age, especially during the peak of his career in the 1950s and 1960 seconds. He was a man who saw everything: the glamour, the glitz, the smiles that amazed millions of fans on screen, but also the darkness and meanness that hid behind closed doors. In one honest moment later in his career, Gleason shocked audiences and co-workers when he openly revealed that some of the beloved Golden Age guests who appeared on variety shows, including his own, were actually evil. According to Gleason, not every actor or entertainer who showed charm on television or in public had the kind of heart people imagine. He shocked many by naming specific names, going far beyond unclear generalizations. One of the people he brought up was none other than Orson Welles. While Welles was praised as a genius for Citizen Kane and admired for his booming stage presence, Gleason bluntly said Orson was brilliant. But don't let that fool you. Behind the curtain, he could be manipulative, selfish, and downright cruel. He wasn't just difficult. He enjoyed making other people miserable. I always said some people light up a room when they walk in. Orson lit it up when he walked out. Gleason's harsh words painted a very different picture from the public view of Welles as a misunderstood artist, instead showing him as someone who used his intelligence and charm in darker, more self-serving ways. But Orson Welles wasn't the only name Gleason dropped in his shocking memory. Another guest Gleason called out was Frank Sinatra, a man respected as Old Blue Eyes. Loved by millions of fans and celebrated as one of the greatest singers of all time, Sinatra had appeared with Gleason on several occasions. And while their joking on camera looked warm and natural, Gleason claimed the reality was far different. Frank had a mean streak a mile wide, Gleason said. Don't get me wrong, the man could sing like no other, and when he was in the right mood, he could be charming, but if you got on his bad side, he would cut you down without a second thought. I saw him embarrass waiters, scream at stagehands, and I'll tell you, he liked people to fear him more than love him. For fans who only knew Sinatra as the smooth crooner, Gleason's comments were almost impossible to believe. But they also matched rumors that had long swirled around Sinatra's supposed ties to mobsters and his very explosive temper. Even more surprising was Gleason's statement about another person from the Golden Age, actress Joan Crawford. Known for her striking beauty, famous film roles, and polished public image, Crawford was one of Hollywood's brightest stars, but Gleason dismissed the glamorous image completely, claiming that Crawford's off-screen behavior was shocking. "Joan was one of the coldest people I ever met," he said. "She could turn on that smile for the cameras, but it was like a switch. The minute the cameras were off, it was nothing but ice. She treated people like props, like they were beneath her. If that ain't evil, I don't know what is." Decades later, Crawford's adopted daughter, Christina, would release the famous memoir, Mommy, Dearest, backing up Gleason's impression and showing that his comments may have been more than just harsh words. To Gleason, these revelations weren't just bitter stories. They were warnings about how easily the public could be fooled by the shiny image of stardom, while fans at home saw their favorite celebrities as gods and goddesses. Gleason had seen enough of their real personalities to understand that many of them lived double lives. He explained, "People worship these folks like saints, but I can tell you sainthood wasn't in the room. The same people you saw smiling in front of the camera were often tearing someone down the second it was turned off. That's what I mean when I say actually evil. Evil doesn't always wear horns. Sometimes it wears a tuxedo and sings a love song, or it puts on a glamorous gown and waves to the crowd." These rare unfiltered remarks revealed a darker side of Hollywood's golden age that few dared to admit publicly. Jackie Gleason, with his trademark honesty and unwillingness to sugarcoat, gave audiences a rare peek behind the curtain, reminding everyone that in the entertainment industry, not all that glitters is gold. Jackie Gleason's final performance on the big screen came in 1986 with his unforgettable performance in Nothing in Common, a heartfelt comedy drama that paired him with rising star Tom Hanks. In the film, Gleason took on the role of a sick, sharp-tongued, and emotionally complicated father, a weak, bitter, and almost Archie Bunker-like person who finds himself forced into an uneasy yet tender reconnection with his separated son. Critics immediately recognized that Gleason had poured his soul into the character, delivering a layered performance filled with both biting humor and quiet vulnerability. What audiences did not know at the time was that this remarkable performance was achieved under the shadow of devastating personal struggles. Behind the camera, Gleason was privately fighting a series of serious health battles. He had been diagnosed with colon cancer, and the disease had already spread to his liver by the time filming was underway. On top of that, he was also dealing with painful problems from phlebitis, a condition that inflames the veins, as well as the constant challenges of diabetes. In true showman's fashion, Gleason chose to keep these medical hardships hidden from the public eye. To those on set, he may have appeared tired, but the sheer willpower and professionalism he displayed masked just how sick he truly was. Rumors began to spread that the legendary entertainer was very ill, yet he refused to confirm or discuss the matter, preferring to let his work speak louder than his suffering. The sadness of Nothing in Common has only deepened with time, as fans now understand that Gleason was in many ways playing a role that mirrored his own life. An aging man dealing with weakness, death, and complicated family ties. Less than a year after the film's release, the rumors proved true. On June 24, 1987, Jackie Gleason passed away at the age of 71 in the comfort of his Florida home. His death marked the end of an era, closing the curtain on a career that had spanned television, film, and music, and leaving behind a legacy of laughter and timeless performances.